Factory 5 Roadster 6882, 10,185 miles. Maybe time for an update video. And what I'm sort of thinking is that I am trying to fix some things here, and I have it on my list to do some repair work, but I thought I would do an update video since I haven't done one for a very long time, and kind of let you know how the car's going. The car's running great. Haven't had really any issues out of it. The only issues I've had are just small ones. For instance, this mirror has fallen off, and it just vibrated. And one time I was going over a railroad track and I heard sort of I guess it was the screw falling, and I was thinking, I wonder if that was my mirror, and just at the same time the mirror fell. So this is a different mirror now, and just yesterday I was getting ready to drive out into the rain, and I just touched this and it fell in the garage. So the point being, things rattle loose, and you just sort of need to keep checking them. Here's I'm missing a screw in the windshield. Found that out the other day when I was still trying to put the mirror back on. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. I still don't have the overriders on. I still don't have the fans in. Still haven't done anything with the body, any sort of body shaping. The doors are still the same. The vents are not in. I've just been driving it and having a really good time doing it. I've discovered I've got a new leak down here. I think my valve cover gasket is leaking. That is oil, and I wiped that up yesterday before going to a Cars and Coffee, and it's back. So we're gonna have to change the valve cover gasket. The Phytech is running fine here lately. The idle has been a little high, so I'm going to try to check into seeing what may be the cause of that. Otherwise, the motor is running good. I'm glad that I went with a stock 302. Changed out the cam, but it's got plenty of power for me. Some of you guys need more power, but for me, it's got a lot of power, and it's a fun vehicle. I have changed out the brake booster and the master cylinder. That's because the brakes had started to apply themselves as I was driving down the interstate, and I was starting to get a hard pedal. And the research that I looked at was that there may be a reason that the brake fluid is seeping past the master cylinder piston into the brake booster and compromising the diaphragm. When I took off the master cylinder, there was brake fluid sitting against the diaphragm of the brake booster. So that led me to go ahead and just replace both of them. In the meantime, I did put in the dog dish that you get from Walmart for 97 cents to get a little space, because I did have to take out that splash guard in order to get my master cylinder out. Tried to prime it, bench bleed the master cylinder better than I did last time, and I think I've got a better pedal now. Still need to do a little bit of adjustment. Otherwise, just filth. You know, I need to go through here and clean things, but no real noticeable leaks. And I say that just that I'm not unrealistic in expecting absolutely no leaks at all. You know, I sort of take all of this with a grain of salt, and if there's a leak, so be it, because I've done all this myself and it's first time and blah blah blah. So we're doing good for what's going on here. Let's see, this was leaking, excuse me, not this, but on the other end, the hose clamps were leaking. And I'm not going to be able to reach down there and show them to you, so I'm just showing you these hose clamps. I just tightened them up again, but oil was getting bypassed that hose, and tightening them back up helped out. I did buy a 90-degree adapter to fit on the motor to skip the remote, but I haven't put that on because I haven't run into any more problems. Let's see, the no problems with the distributor, no problems with the coil, no problems with the alternator. Coolant system is running good. That power tour was a good test of it. The power tour is coming up in 3 months. We're doing it again. Let's see what else. I haven't changed out the air filter. Suppose I should probably do that. But otherwise, just general dirt. Just need to clean it up. It's really quite filthy, but I'll tell you, I'm having a ball with it. Mechanical linkage, I should probably go through there and tighten everything up. And there, my return springs, I could probably get the right springs in there now that it's been proven that those are the right tension. The hood is filthy underneath. It's all right. Windshield wipers still don't work, but Rain-X has done well for us. I've just enlarged the drain holes, and this is sort of where the reason for the update has come up in. We went to a Cars and Coffee yesterday and it was raining, and we were just having a ton of water come in here, and it was puddling down there, and my daughter was pulling out her feet so that they wouldn't get wet. It just wasn't draining as fast as it was filling. So I've now got 2 new drain holes in here which should drain it just fine. But Dave, you shouldn't have any water at all. I know, but we're one step at a time. So down here is where I found the cause. This is what I had put underneath in order to seal up the gap before, but the dirt was getting in there and the gap was starting to recreate. So I have started scrubbing there. I was trying to get all that dirt off of there to reapply new, this is really sound deadener, but I'm still planning to take the body off, so I'm not doing anything permanent right now, just to seal that up. And then while I was down here, I thought, well, you know, it's been 10,000 miles. It's time, and I've done a once over, but probably time to do a really good once over. Make sure everything is tight. Kind of get up here and see, you know, where the weaknesses are, and so are things still staying together? How are they appearing? Are things starting to rattle loose? Are things leaking that I'm not sure of? Grease, should I just reapply grease? Are things chafing? You know, really what's going on in here. Make sure everything is tight. So that's what I'm going to do. But I haven't been down in here to look at this at all. And I'm sort of reaching my arm out to view these things. So I'm going to be reviewing this video later just to see how things are doing. There's the battery in there. If I have a leak in the differential. See that grease sprayed up there? That's from the U-joint on the drive shaft. Too much grease in there. Sort of gotten on the disconnect. That disconnect is handy. The fuel filter up here. But looks like we got a little bit of possible leaking there, but there's no drip underneath. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. Just looking over everything and filling in this gap here. The clock still doesn't work, nor have I ever taken it out of the dash and called odometer. So the seat coolers are great, and the seat heater is great. The heater itself is really good. It works very well. Haven't been using the Cruise that much. The cubby hole, I haven't used this at all. We just pulled out the rain gear. We put on the rain gear. We use Frog Togs. I have the bib for the for my rain gear in case I sit in a puddle. I'm going to be putting grommets down in this seat. Put the sun visors on. Open the trunk. Everything is pretty much staying dry in here. I say pretty much because it could be getting wet. I'm not aware of it if it is. My spare parts box is still dry, so even with all that rain that we drove through yesterday, wet roads, things are fine. Is it in the off position? Yes. Okay. I can tell that the real leaking is in the door, in this gap right here. You know, there's that gap. I'm going to have to seal up somehow. And I'm reluctant to do the body work on these doors because ultimately I'm going to drop this butt to do drop butt mod. But haven't done so yet because the tires are fine. The tires fill up the wheel wells pretty well. Got a lot of rubber left, so maybe the next tire I'll buy a smaller tire, and then I'll be able to drop the rear end. So I guess that's about all I can think of right now with the update. The side pipes, they do get louder, and I can tell the difference. More mileage. They do have a different sound to them, and I am entertaining the idea of getting the gas and pipes, but see, I really like the raw look to it, and they only make that in stainless. So I may be putting those on there, but the sound has changed in the car over these miles. Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that, I suppose. All right, y'all take care.